So welcome back to the Dreamcatchers. So I know that my channel is based around challenges and routines and stuff, but that was me like 3 years ago. So what I think I'm gonna do on this channel a bunch is scary stories. Some scary stories happened to me, some scary stories I just found online and stuff, and yes, I'm on the porch, but I don't have backdrops or anything, so I'm either gonna have to make my own, buy one, I don't know. But anyways, this is a scary story of what happened to me in these exact same apartments. I'm not gonna say where they're at for those of you that don't know me at all, but in this one specific apartment that my brother's ex-girlfriend used to live in, I was there staying the night with her. She's still my sister, I think. Like that. I just think of her as my sister still, but she had her girls and so they wanted me to stay the night with them, so I did, and I was sleeping in their bedroom with my niece Temperance and my niece Constance on on one of the beds, and I randomly woke up in the middle of the night, and it was like 2:40, and I stayed awake laying there because I couldn't go back to sleep, and I didn't know why. Well, anyways, I had this eerie feeling that something was not right, that like an entity or a ghost or a spirit was by me, and turns out that I was right, because when I was thinking that, I heard large footsteps coming up the stairs. And I didn't know if it was my brother or not, so I went in his room, and him, my sister, and my niece Hennessy was still in the room, and my two nieces were still in their room. So I was like, okay, this is really, really weird. So I hurried up, went back on the bed that I was sleeping on. I covered myself with a blanket because it made me feel more safe. And I still heard those footsteps slowly walking on the stairs, and they were really loud ones, like a tall person like my brother was walking on them. But I didn't know who it was because no one else was in the house with us. So I just laid there in my blanket acting like I was sleeping. And whoever it was, came into the room that I was in, along with my two nieces, Constance and Temperance. And it was breathing heavily, like really heavily, and I knew it was my brother because he breathes different than that. And so I kind of took a peek, and it was a tall black figure standing there. So I slowly covered the blanket back over my face, and I only had it to where one of my eyes was peeking out of the blanket, and at this point I couldn't see it. It went over, but I know that it went over to my niece Constance because it slowly lifted her up on the bed, and the bed's right here, and she was that far up from the bed. Then he dropped her, and she plopped down, but she didn't wake up or make a sound, and I thought it was really weird. So, I was kind of shaking there, like really bad, and he went over to the bed I was sleeping on because I was sleeping next to my niece Temperance, and he was slowly dragging her at the bottom of the bed. And so I just still stayed there, and then he kept on going back and forth, repeating the same steps. So he went back to my niece Constance, lifted her up, put her down, went back to my niece Temperance, slowly dragged her more towards the end of the bed, and he kept on doing that about 5 times. And then I kind of just let out a little scream, and I was kind of crying and I was shaking so bad so you could see the blanket moving on the outside. So what he did, what I believe he did, is he came over to me, kind of dragged it off of me a little bit, so I hurry up and close my eyes. And just thinking of it scares me, but anyways, I felt a really, really sharp pain in my foot. And when I looked at my foot, it looked like it was bit, like someone bit my foot. And I'm not going to show my foot because that's kind of disgusting, but it was sunk in. My foot was literally sunk in at the muscle of it, and it really hurt. Like if someone bit me on my foot. That's how bad it hurt. But so yeah, before, but so now I have cramps in that same spot that the ghost entity spirit, I don't know what it was, bit me at. And ever since then, I started having these Charlie horses and cramps in my foot. So that's my scary story about the ghost that was in my niece's room and in my sister's apartment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day. And see me on the next one tomorrow. Peace.